Hey guys, thanks for all the support on my last video. I appreciate it. I know I'm wearing the exact same shirt and recording in the exact same spot as yesterday, but like chill on me. I like this sweater, it's really nice. In this video, I'll cover my predictions for Legend ZA and the starter Pokemon, and I will also read the comments from last week's video. First off, we have the starters, Totodile, Chikorita, and Tepig. My opinion on these starters, I like them. All these starters work really well for this region because they're all tied to cooking in some way. France is known for cooking. A lot of people have problems with the fact that there is Chikorita and Totodile in the same game, and a lot of people say, oh yeah, I want Snivy. I already went over that last week's video, so go watch it. But the reason that it's not Snivy and Totodile, or the reason that it's not Chikorita and Popplio, is because Chikorita and Totodile work well with food. The theme of these starters is going to be centered around food for sure, and like a Pokemon like Sobble or Piplup or Popplio do not go well with that theme. The same thing can be said about grass. Really only Chikorita is based off of an herb or a spice. And then we have Tepig, which is literally a pig. I mean, the French love to eat pig. Who doesn't love to eat pig? I mean me, because I'm Muslim. But now that I've explained why this starter trio is in this particular game, I'm gonna get into predictions. Yeah, who doesn't love predictions? Although real quick, I'm just gonna go over whether or not these starter Pokemon will get Megas or not. They won't. If they gave Megas to specifically Emboar, Meganium, and Feraligatr, that would mean they would have to do the same for Hisuian Typlosion, Hisuian Samurott, and Hisuian Decidueye. Maybe not Hisuian Decidueye, but they would have to give like every starter Megas, and they don't want to do that. Regional forms, on the other hand, obviously they're getting regional forms. That's the entire reason they're being put in the game, is so that they can be buffed with new forms. You think that they would just give Typlosion a Hisuian form and not Meganium and Feraligatr? No. Out of those regional forms, I think that Meganium is the easiest one to predict. First off, Chikorita has disarming voice in the trailer, which a lot of fans pointed out. This doesn't automatically mean that Meganium will be part fairy type, but it's a strong indicator. In Chikorita's Pokédex entry, it talks about how it waves its leaf to calm down the opponent and itself. The calming aspect of this description mirrors what a fairy type would do. Fairy types are generally known as like the friendly type, or the kind type, or the cute type. So this description is very in character. This would mean Typlosion would be fire ghost, Meganium would be grass and fairy. Now, what about for Feraligatr? To sum up this trio, I think that Feraligatr will be a water and dark type, and there's reason for that. First off, its Pokédex entry states that it has strong jaws and will bite anything that moves. If that isn't dark type, I don't know what is. It would also make it weak to Meganium's secondary type and strong against Typhlosion's. It also learns bite and crunch naturally, which certainly helps its case. One more point to Feraligatr being a water dark type is that in France, it's custom to eat slowly and take your time with your food. I see Feraligatr just eating everything in like 2 seconds, and that is very rude, hence the dark type. There might be other cultural reasons, but you know. The dragon type is a type that a lot of fans probably want for Feraligatr, but I don't think it's gonna happen since they've never really done a dragon type like starter. They've done dragon type megas for starters, but they haven't done an actual dragon type evolution. And I know things can change, but typically it's not good to mess with the fire, water, grass trio. And also, having such easy access to a dragon type Pokemon would probably defeat the purpose of dragon types in the first place, which is for them to be rare and strong. I mean, it could work because Meganium could still hit it with fairy type attacks instead of grass type attacks, but I see it's a little unlikely. Now for Emboar, I am not really sure. I have two pretty good guesses as to what Emboar's final type could be, but they might not be right. My first guess is that Emboar will be part electric type because in Tepig's Pokédex entry, it talks about Tepig's speed and how it can easily dodge opponents. It also loves to roast berries, so I think that Emboar would be like the chef of the trio. But yeah, it's probably not going to be fire electric, and I can give you like 2 or 3 reasons why. Number one, If it was electric type, it would be super effective against Feraligatr. They don't want that. Number 2, just going based off Pokedex entries isn't a good telltale sign of something. If you go to the Legends Arceus starters and do the same thing, like, you can only really see Rowlet being connected to its fighting type because it talks about its strong kicks and how it hunts at night. But you could also say that's a dark type because hunting Pokemon at night is kind of crazy. And for Cyndaquil and Oshawott, you can't really tell because Oshawott talks about how it like fights back in self-defense against predators or something. And then Cyndaquil like curls up into a ball and its fire ignites when it's like scared. But that doesn't really mean that Oshawott will be a dark type and then Cyndaquil will go on to be a ghost type. So that's not a good indicator. I think that Fire Steel works a lot better than Fire Electric because number 1, it would still be weak against, well, I mean, Electric type does not resist water, but Steel is resisted by water, which means that like you wouldn't have to worry about Feraligatr getting beaten by the type it's supposed to beat, you know? Not only that, but Fire Steel makes more sense if it's going to be a cook because it can literally cook things inside of itself. Like imagine an Emboar that is like a furnace. It opens up its like belly or something, puts food in there, boom, takes it out. It's like, it'll be like a microwave Pokemon. That would be so funny. And I think that it's more likely than Fire Electric because I can't even wrap my mind around that fully. Especially since Electric is kind of the unofficial 4th type. So giving it to Emboar wouldn't be, I don't think it's gonna happen. I also thought about Fire Ground just because Meganium being part Fairy, Feraligatr being part Dark, and then Emboar being part Ground would also mimic the Life or Death trio. That's not what it's actually called. It's called the Balanced. What is that trio called? I don't know. But it mimics the trio of Gen 6, which is in where this game is based off of. I think that would be cool, but it's very unlikely. Fire Ground just doesn't make much sense for like a chef, you know? So yeah, my final predictions for this Star trio is going to be Grass and Fairy type Meganium, Water and Dark type Feraligatr, and Fire and Steel type Emboar. Thanks for watching. That's all for now. Until we meet again. Now for the comments. First of all, frick you, Metagovis. You look like a moldy sauce. Let me unheart that message. Next, we have a comment from Giero3253. I will admit that Blaziken is better than Emboar, but I still find Emboar really cool. I also agree with your second sentence. Next, we have a comment by DM Nasir 471. He says that Snivy is a way better starter than Chikorita, but saying better in every way is wrong, especially since Meganium is way better in support. Next up, we have a comment from Zo1571. I completely forgot to talk about the Gen 6 starters being in this game. I actually think that the Gen 6 starters will be in this game and they'll get Megas. You're probably going to be able to get most of the starters in this game, but there's no way you're not getting the Kalos starters. Last comment I'll be replying to is from Rock Owl Gamer 631. Rock Owl Gamer's comment basically sums up why I don't want these starters to have Megas. Regional forms will stay forever no matter what happens, and I cannot wait for Meganium to be viable in OU. That is, I just can't wait. Thank you all for commenting, and I'll see y'all in the next one. I forgot to say subscribe. Do that. Thanks.